All right, y'all. Tonight we got another school owner. We got Mr. Scott. Capital Barber Academy is in the house. He's going through his NAGAS accreditation. He's already approved for the VA. But we like to interview school owners. We're not going to talk about the school yet. Scott, can you segue us from your childhood? And then we're going to go all the way up. So tell us a little bit first about who you are. And we want to start with your childhood.
Okay, my name is Scott Osby. I started being interested in cutting hair at age of seventh grade rather. And look, I'm up. Look. Oh, okay. I started cutting hair in seventh grade, had an interest in it, and did it all while I was in high school. Played a lot of sports, played football. Didn't know if I wanted to pursue football or pursue a trade. So undecided, I ended up pursuing a trade in barbering. You know, where I'm from, we like hairdos and tennis shoes, and all that good stuff, you know. So I ended up going to barber school, youngest in the school area. Well, in the barber school, I was the youngest, 19. It was real difficult at first. It was a struggle being new to it, long hours and all that good stuff, you know, but I ended up finishing up, passed my barber examination on the first try, and end up going to Lincoln University, my alma mater. And actually, barbering was going to be just a second deal for me. You know, college was the main choice. You know, barbering was a backup plan. You know, and start cutting hair up here, charging $5. I came up here with a license, charging $5 in the dorm. Had them lined up. I was surprised because barbering that was just a backup plan for me. You know, I was trying to pursue my degree in communications. Now I look back on it, I should have did it in business to coincide it with barbering, but I didn't. But you know, needless to say, I end up cutting hair a whole lot and end up barbering just took over. It just took over, which ended up, you know, I end up not finishing college, you know, but I think I made the best choice in barbering, you know. And that's how that kind of went.
When you quit, what made you quit college? And what did your parents say about you quitting college? Because back in the day,
Yeah.
we're not young people. We're a little seasoned. We're a little old. So tell us about that.
Oh, man. When I quit, they had a lot to say, you know, but at that time, you know, my parents told me, we're going to pay for your first 2 years of college. After that, you're on your own. So I was on my own after the first 2 years, you know, and just pretty much got burnt out, you know, and friend of mine, Derek Perry, you know, we was we was up here going to summer school, starving, hungry, you know, all the care packages and all that was out the door at my house. So I told myself, let me go down here to this barber shop, Johnson's Barber and Beauty Shop. I give up respect to them. Mr. Johnson, rest in peace. He gave me a chance. I took my license down to him. And after that, it was just history. It was history, you know. Best thing I could have did, you know. It was a life changer, you know.
So
Yeah.
what was your first job? So when you quit college, did you go work at a barber shop? Tell us what you did.
Oh man. When I came to college, after going to barber school, I was working at Shop and Save. Once I started going to college and everything, I didn't even have a job. I cut hair all through college to now. I haven't had it. Well, I take that back. A good friend of mine, he graduated from college, and he was filling out an application at a factory. So I was waiting with him at the time, and I told myself, you know, I might as well fill out one too. I'm here. So I filled out one. They hired me first. I worked 3 months there, 11 to 7 in the morning, never forget it. And after that, I was going to the barbershop. But all along, I kept telling them I didn't need the job, you know, so I ended up getting fired after 3 months. But other than that, that was like in 94. But other than that, I haven't had not one job at all. I've been cutting hair. The barbering business has been real good to me, you know. after that era like that, you know, I ended up pursuing a detail shop. I had a corner store up here, and I was doing barber in all three entities, you know. So it's been real good to me, you know. I can't complain. Now I'm just trying to elevate it now to a whole nother level, you know.
So you haven't had a job since 1994, and right now, as we speak, it's 2024. So that's 30 years
Right.
that you have not punched the clock.
Seriously. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you quit that, well, you got fired from the,
Yeah,
why
they
did you get
fired me.
fired from the factory?
Missing days, you know, like I told them I didn't need the job. They wanted me to do overtime. I was still on probation, but I kept telling them I didn't need the job. I just got hired just, you know, on a whim, you know. Um, so that's pretty much how that kind of fell. You know, when they fired me, it was just I didn't care, you know. I was cutting hair and making good money back then, real good money, you know. So hey, I look at it as a blessing, pretty much, you know.
So you cutting hair in this shop. This is 1994, right?
Yes.
Okay, so kind of stair step us from 1994 on up.
From cutting hair at the barbershop, after working and all that, you saying?
Yeah, just kind of give us a graph of, okay, it's 1994, I'm cutting hair in the shop, I'm charging X amount, then 95. So kind of take us on that journey.
Oh, wow. When I left to go to college, we was charging $8 in St. Louis when I left. Came up here, I started at the shop at Johnson's in 90, and we were charging $6. So that was a nice little change for me. 94 came about. I want to say I might have been charging uh maybe $15 or $20 for everything, haircut and face. Um, Long hours, you know, I wasn't dedicated at first. I was coming in late at 12 o'clock in the evening and leaving early, you know, and then just got focused after that. Mid 90s, just started really trying to pursue the craft even harder. Start coming to work earlier, 7:30 in the morning, you know, leaving out at like at 10 at night. No lunches, some lunches standing up eating. Um, so I just noticed that after working and cutting hair, which I really love and enjoy, I figured, you know, let me try to take it to another level, you know. It's a cosmetology school up here, but I kept asking myself, you know, it's not a barber school. Why is it not a barber school up here? And I had a lot of guys that went to Lincoln that would come to me and was asking about was it a barber school around, and you know, it was just like a demand for a barber school. So I started looking into it. So 95, 96, I started taking my instructor's examination and, you know, not being serious and everything, you know, trying to just flow through it and, you know, just trying to just get by basically, um, and failed it. Uh, it's kind of ridiculous really, but, you know, I just kept, every time I feel it, I'm rescheduling it the next day, you know, for the next test. Uh, my pops passed 10 years ago. And I used to always tell him, hey, I passed the first part of the test. I'm gonna get the barber school going, you know. He was like, okay, let me see, you know, go and do your thing. So after he passed, I got focused, real focused, you know, hired me a tutor and everything. And her name's Veronica Booker down in Arkansas. She's a stylist, real good person. She tutored me and I ended up passing with a 98 on the test. Put down all the party favorites and everything, just got focused, you know, just got real focused and passed it, you know. Um, it's it's really it really was interesting because I just figured, you know, you put your mind to something and just go all out, you can make anything happen, especially when you got the faith and everything. And, you know, you just gotta just get focused on stuff, you know. But yeah.
So
It's
you passed the test. What did you do after you passed that instructor's test?
what did I do? man, I started praising the man up above, everything. Just started getting focused, like what I'm gonna do next. Okay. I started figuring out, okay, I need to get me a curriculum together, a business plan together. I'm going to pursue a school. I'm looking for areas around here where the best place to do a school. I was trying to find a place by Lincoln where it was good foot traffic, for the students and everything. But nowadays everybody got a car. When I went to college, it was like 5 of us that only had cars back then. But after that, pursued uh, uh, trying to get my curriculum and a business plan together. Had a lady who was my secretary, Veronica is her name, and she passed. She had got my business plan together for me and everything, and I end up touching base with Lincoln University with a small business association, and they we had some bumps in the road. We had some bumps in the road, but at the end of the day, I end up accomplishing what I needed to do. And like I said, just being focused and everything, and just everything just pretty much kind of fell in place, from getting a loan, the building, getting everything furnished up, you know. I think I need to write a book for real. It's a lot of more obstacles going on, and I prefer not to even really say too much about, but but I'm thinking.
What made you even think about opening a school? Because most people that look like us don't think that big. We thinking of maybe going to school, graduating, and our dream is to get a shop. So how did your mindset even get to thinking that big? And what year was that?
Like I said, it was like 95, 96 when I started pursuing my instructor's license to look at trying to do a school, to open up a school. Mr. Johnson, like I was telling you earlier, who I had worked in the shop with, the demographics up here back then were real different. Like I said, we was charging $6 at the shop up here when I got up here, opposed to St. Louis, $8 on up. So a lot of things was real slow back then, So, things were just way different. So when I noticed that there was a need for it, I just kind of just started buckling down and trying to concentrate on, hey, let me try to get a school going up here, you know. The cosmetology school up here, Merrill, been up here for years, but I just didn't understand why come it wasn't a barber school, It was it wasn't even, it might have been one black beauty shop up here in a black barber shop where I was at, but these people were like up in age. So it wasn't no young people up here like it is in the city, like just really cutting hair and people flocking to them, you know what I mean? It was like people, a lot of the students was going back home to get haircuts and getting their hair done, you know. But once I started doing what I was doing in the shop, people started coming in and everything. But like I said, the school wise, I knew it had to, I knew it would work. It's just the fact of me just uh passing the test, getting some money and finding the location. And that's pretty much what I did, and really haven't looked back. Everything just been kind of elevating for me.
So did you just get in your car and start driving around looking for buildings? What did you do?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I started driving around, looking at certain areas, calling people. A lot of up this way, uh, property and buildings are like real cheap. You could find a nice building easy for 350, for really about 300 to 700, real easy. So I was, like I said, looking around for a school that was, had a nice size square footage, you know, and it was I wanted to do it like in a plaza area, you know, uh and also too where buses can, has transportation for people to get dropped off or whatever up this way, and not too far out. So that's pretty much how I found this place where I'm at. I'm not too far from the university at all, you know. Um, and it was always some vacancies up this way. And then it's a prime location, basically what I'm saying.
So when you found that building, you called the landlord or whatever, went in and looked around. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, wow. When I found the spot that I liked, I called the landlord, and it was gonna be an issue at first because it was two beauty shops in this area. So they figured if I opened up a barber shop, it was going to be some type of conflict of interest with the beauty shops. But I had to let them know I'm doing a school. This is totally different than a shop, you know. Um, so when I let them know, they start, making their mind up, saying, "Okay, yeah, I can do it" or whatever. But I never did want to do a barber shop because, like I was talking about earlier, the population and the crowd, I didn't see is really worth doing it. It was just a school would always been better for me, in my opinion, because if I did a barbershop, I would want a nail tech, a couple of cosmetologists, a masseuse, uh, all type of different ethics or whatever coming up in the shop at one time. Just a barbershop up here to me was kind of slow money for real. you know. But doing the school, called the landlord, and they end up giving me the approval, checking credit checks, all that type of good stuff, all that stuff. My credit was always good. I kept that up. Um, but it was a barber. It was a barber. It was a beauty shop with a barber down over here where I'm at. So I went and introduced myself to them and see if they needed some assistance for us, barbers coming out of here or whatever. We had we bumped heads on a few instances with that, which is still to this day is kind of different up this way with that. Um,
What do you
me
mean you bumped heads? They want to know what do you mean by that?
Well, I've been up here for a long time, I've been up here longer than any barber up here, you know, and I've been doing pretty well for myself, not to brag, but just, it's facts. And you get a lot of new stylists and barbers come up this way, and when things don't go their way, they want to point the finger at certain people who they think may have derailed them towards their accomplishments. And a lot of times at times I was getting the finger pointed at me, but at the end of the day, it's just, you know, it's terrible. We as Black people, we gotta stop this hating stuff. It's just, you know, it's terrible. It's terrible. And being up here in this little small town, I get that a lot, but I'm 55 years old now. I just let that rub up off me, because I've been through it, and I'm not doing nothing but elevating every time. But yeah, that's a whole nother story though. But yeah, stuff like that. Stuff like that. It's a lot of unlicensed, it's quite a few folks up there that's not licensed. So what I did was I reached out to all the ones who wasn't licensed to see if they wanted to get a license to get corrected. A lot of them said yeah, but at the end of the day, they didn't do it. So it's a lot of little weird type of conversations about that, thinking I had something to do with folks coming up into the shops and everything, and people um inspecting it.
Okay. So you signed the lease on the building. Can you tell us what you did? Did you have to do plumbing, electrical, put your equipment in, your classroom? Tell us about that.
Yeah, when I got the building, uh I hired a friend of mine that I knew, and he did pretty much all the work in it. Flooring, ran all my pipes, electrical work and everything. Had to pass all the codes. I learned a whole lot doing something like this, because in my mind, I'm thinking about St. Louis. Hey, I can call a friend up here, do something real quick, and then call the inspectors up here. Jeff City, totally different. You can't play that game up here with them. You got to do everything by the book. So I did everything by the book, passed everything on the first walkthrough, you know, everything, passed everything. Except I had to put a ventilating system in the school. And I didn't understand that because I'm telling them this is barbering. I'm not using any aerosols and any type of fumes to, you know, but that was their requirement. I had to put a ventilating system in here, and I had to put a ventilation system in here. Also, I had to put a office in my school. I thought I could do a cubicle or something to separate students and everything, but the lady, the inspectors told me, hey, if you need to talk to students, how you gonna talk to them? I'm gonna take them over here. I'm gonna take them outside. They said, no, you gotta have an office. So when they came inspect me, they failed me. State board failed me, you know, but I had to build an office. So I had a good friend of mine, Teron Wings from St. Louis. He built me an office in one day. Didn't charge me anything. Real good friend of mine. Without him, I wouldn't open at all that day, maybe none that week. So yeah, that office, that ventilation system too. But yeah, other than that, everything was pretty smooth for myself, you know. I can't complain. Can't complain. I thought I was gonna have it rough, like I said, I'm the first barber school in Jefferson City. So I just thought it was gonna be real hectic for me, you know. So all I know is following the rules and doing things by the book, you know, especially up this way, you know.
How many square foot was required in Missouri for a barber school?
Oh, I think it was maybe 15, I think. I can't really remember. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. Um, yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, I can't remember.
What year did you open your school, Scott?
I opened up the school in 2019, and I'm coming upon my 5th year in August. So
How did you get students? Because a lot of people scared to open a school for different reasons. They wondering, well, how am I gonna get students? How am I gonna get clients? How am I gonna stay open? How am I gonna stay afloat? All of this stuff. So can you tell them about that?
this is crazy. You know, I jumped out there. I jumped out there on faith and just me being a name in the city here, and I found out I need to do more than that. So I got on social media. I started doing flyers, a lot of word of mouth. Um, I started going to voc rehabilitation.
What do you mean vocational rehabilitation?
Um, well, to pursue what I was doing, I was sending students over that way, but I had to become a vendor for as students who had maybe disabilities or been incarcerated, or they had some type of uh, uh, you know, disabilities among themselves, you know, that could be more than likely get approved if
So
they had some type of uh,
mental, physical health or dependency problem, whatever.
yeah,
And
yes, but they had to show proof, you know, records, you know, going to the doctor, medications, and all that type of stuff, you know.
so the government they would pay you?
Yes, they will pay me for those students that had uh, who was approved for that program, you know. What they also too would do, and it's kind of different up this way, like I said, they would also find you housing, um, and also pay for your food and travels, gas and everything. Depends on how far of a radius you are from the school, you know.
Now, how did you hear about vocational rehabilitation?
I got a couple of mentors that I deal with that had schools. Steve Watson from Kansas City had a school. Eric Brown in St. Louis, that I, you know, pretty much keep up with these guys. And they were pretty much giving me the ins and outs of the barber school game or whatever, you know, letting me know different type of fundings that I need to try to pursue, you know, especially not being accredited, you know. Not being accredited, starting off with a school is pretty hard because the main thing is that you got to get students in. So you got to figure out a way to get students in. So if you got your tuition set at some type of number, you're going to have to give some breaks and try to do scholarships, and you gotta know how to, you know, play with the numbers, you know, to make it affordable and feasible for students.
So you know Eric Brown that had the school.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
So now you're going through voc rehab. Now, were they giving you a check, cash, wiring money to your bank account? Can you tell them about that?
Folk rehab, they would send me out checks. And I didn't, every time I always give them my bank account number so they can do a direct deposit. But for some reason, they keep mailing it to me. The voc rehab is they they're a little tough over there, you know, but we seem to make it work, you know.
So
You gotta have some patience.
how did you feel when you would get that check in the mail?
You said what?
How did you feel when you would get that check from vocational rehabilitation?
Oh man, I feel super. I'm feeling good, you know, always. You know, that's always a good feeling, you know, good
And would they pay you
accomplishment.
straight out for your total tuition, or what would they do?
They do it in quarterly forms, but it's so different over there. I got a payment for one student all at one time, you know, and I figured, hey, I guess that's what they're doing now. But then they start breaking it back up again on me. So it's just, I don't know, a little hit and miss with that, you know.
Okay. So you going through voc rehab. Any other programs? Tell us more about the school, other programs that you started pursuing or whatever.
What was that? Upstart? Yeah. I had a couple students use the Upstart program, and it seemed to work out real well. I was kind of surprised, you know, it was new to myself, but when it worked and went through it, that was a plus. So now when students come to me, I can tell them they can try to pursue that if nothing else, you know, especially if they can't get a loan or, you know, don't have any other means.
Now, can you tell them what Upstart is?
Upstart is a program that give loans to the like a yeah. Yeah, like a firm, you know, they do loans or whatever for students who pretty much qualify, you know. You just got to pay them back, you know. That's the thing. Some people get these monies and don't want to pay them back, you know. But it's just gonna hurt them at the end.
And when did you start thinking about accreditation? Can you tell us about that journey?
Accreditation, I want to say maybe about a year and some months, about a year and 3 months ago. Start thinking about accreditation. Um, doing any doing a barber school or, you know, anything for us technical or whatever, you know, a trade. Uh, I want to say maybe, you know, it's anybody can pretty much open up a school, but that to get over the hump, to really see some real money, you know, you can have to get accredited, you know. So I start thinking about, okay, I've been open up 2 years now, you know, you got to be open up at least 2 years. And I said, okay, let me start trying to reach for some other funding, you know, that's gonna be real beneficial and real worthy for uh, uh, students that's really interested in barbering, to make it easier for them, you know, financial aid, you know, for them. And just start, you know, went down to Orlando to the NACA's convention, and just didn't look back, you know. Just start pursuing it. Looked you up, you know,
Now,
and
how many times did you go to the conference? You went, tell us about that. Tell them about that journey.
me and my secretary Ashley, we flew down there. went to the conference, and it was just one time. I only went one time. Um, went to all the seminars, met a lot of business owners um, in cosmetology and barbering, did a lot of networking. Um, it was really educational. It was something real different for me, just seeing so many people, so many young people that's school owners, trying to pursue the same thing I was trying to do too. So that was real different for me.
Okay, so you at the workshop in the classes, and then what, you left after that?
Yeah, pretty much. We did went to workshops, met a few vendors, for us getting software for the schools, uh vendors for equipment, just all type of vendors that was down there. Um, but yeah, did all the seminars, went to all the meetings, and had a good time. Pretty much had a good time, you know. Yeah. Came back with a different type of mind frame. Just was charged and ready to go ahead and really dig real deep into trying to get accredited.
So what'd you do when you went back to your school after the workshop?
I went back when I came back up to my school, I was like, I gotta get myself together. We gotta get things in order. You know, like I said, when I opened up, I just kind of jumped out there. And but every month, every year came about, networking, talking to people, just started trying to increase and learn from other schools and, mimic and you know, just trying
So
to do different things.
did you start your candidate process after that workshop that you and your secretary went to?
No, I want to say we started it before. Going to the convention, that was part of it. That was mandatory, you know.
Um, so how did you even come in contact with me?
With you, I seen some videos that kept popping up on my feed, and I was like, I don't know if this is real or not. He kind of young. Talking about he a millionaire barber. I don't know. So I just start pursuing and looking and start researching and uh looked you up and you know talked to you a few times, and when we went to the conference, asked around, had some people to ask me how I was going to go about my accreditation, and brought you up, and uh things just started going from there.
When you say brought me up, what do you mean when you was there?
Well, I met a few owners, and we were all talking about our accreditation, and some were saying they were doing it themselves, and they were asking me how I was doing it. And I told them I'm dealing. I didn't got a hold of the Millionaire Barber. I'm going through him. And some were doing the same, but others was doing their own thing. But it was all pluses though. With no negativity. That's one thing I can say. No negativity at all. You know. So yeah. Yeah. And then talking to Eric, he really had said something to me, before that as well. So, but yeah, I can really say that. Yeah.
Yeah, because Eric went through the program maybe 10 or 15 years ago. It's been a long time.
Yeah, he told me.
So how was it? What made you even work with us or even decide?
Like I said, just I kept seeing you so much on social media, on my feed, and talking to Eric, and he, gave good credentials about you and everything. So I was like, hey, let me see what this guy's talking about, and see what he can do. So I just took a chance, and it seemed to work out real well, real well. Can't complain at all. Can't complain, you know.
So,
Um, yeah.
so how did you feel about the paperwork with NACAS or whatever? Can you tell me a little bit about that, all the paperwork?
Hey, What I can say about that paperwork is real. You know, I'm not too savvy with with uh with computer work, and first of all, I don't need like paperwork, but you know, I dug into it a little bit, you know, so but the paperwork, an average person, I put it like this, you know, what we doing in this in barbering and everything, you know, uh dotting the I's, crossing the T's. I'd rather just go to a professional. To me, uh the Millionaire Barber, you know, you are the professional. So, you know, I might as well go ahead and just pay it, pay what I need to pay, and you know it's gonna be a pass at the end of the day, you know. So instead of me and my secretary trying to do it and we getting uh denied or getting things that we got to keep redoing and redoing, you know. I'm kind of like on a time frame, you know. I don't want to keep prolonging anything, you know. So if I got it, I'm gonna go ahead and just pay it. So I just pay it, you know. You got no problem with that. That's an investment at the end of the day. It's an investment.
And then can you tell them about the veterans, about working with us with, tell them about that, the veterans.
Oh, the veterans. Yeah, veterans. It's another one. Um, it's real beneficial. I advise all school owners to pursue that. Um, you, your team did a heck of a job. A lot of paperwork, man. Um, but the average person, like I said, you really can't do this stuff on your own. You know, if you want to go ahead and get it and knock it and get it all done, just go ahead and pay what you need to pay, and you know, and just move forward. Um, it was that VA was a nightmare. You know, even though when you sign and doing paperwork and sending it in, you know, they sending it back to you, and the average person would get fed up and just say, "Hey, we're gonna do something different." You know, we ain't gonna worry about the VA. You know, but like I said, you know, you guys did a heck of a job. You know, and it was another journey for me. You know, uh, accreditation, VA. You know, is just these just investments you need to have for your school. You got to have it. And, you know, there's no way around. You got to have it. Period. You know,
So how did you feel when that VA got approved?
man, it's like a ton of bricks off me. You know, it was a very relief feeling. You know, um, it's just it's a good feeling when you know what you're doing, especially when you're doing the right thing. You know, and you seeing your school elevating. You know, uh, like I said, my school, 5 years coming up in August. It's a lot of levels, a lot of different levels, slow levels, which I can do that. I can do slow levels, you know, and having patience and everything, you know. Um, I felt real good. I felt everything is starting to come about, you know. So can't complain at all.
Why were you trying to get that VA so quick?
Besides having another funding, I had like two students, really about three, that was always inquiring to me about, hey, do you have the VA so we can do our GI Bill? Do you have the VA? I was like, man, the VA, that was the last thing I was thinking about, getting that, you know. So I said, I need to I need to I need to go ahead and check into it and try to pursue getting that for another funding. Um, yeah, so been getting a lot of feed and a lot of requests and inquiries on the VA. Students coming in trying to use their VA to get into my school now. Big plus. Big plus.
What did you think when they sent you all that paperwork that you had to do for the VA?
When they sent me all that paperwork, we're gonna back up a little bit. When they sent me that paperwork, hey, first of all, I had a secretary, you know, I can't say nothing bad about her. She been with me through thick and thin, but she ended up quitting on me in the heat of the moment, you know. And it was doing accreditation. Well, at the end of the accreditation, no, about the end of the accreditation, but at the beginning of the VA. So I had to figure something out quick. So I called a few good people that I know, a real good personal friend of mine, helped me out a whole lot, can't never the repayment, I just out the window. It's just so much that I need to do to for the help. But that paperwork, that was a problem. It was a big problem. It was I didn't think it was I didn't even think I was gonna get it. I didn't think I was gonna be able to deal with it, But when I called you guys,
What'd you say when you called?
I said, hey, look, I said, my secretary quit on me. I got these VA papers that's like a book, a real textbook. And I did some of them, but some of the stuff, I don't understand none of this stuff, So I was real confused, lost, everything.
And then what happened?
You and your team came through like you guys did with the accreditation again. And man, just made everything all good for me. I salute you, Chin, you and your teams. Man, y'all did a heck of a job, putting up with me, because I know I'm kind of hard to deal with. I know I am, but
No, you're not hard to deal with. I mean, we're just the average men. Most men, they already expect every time it's a man, well, he ain't doing no paperwork. Most women are like paperwork. They dot their ass, cross their T's. But anytime it's a man, they
yeah,
already know that they're gonna have to babysit you and do everything for you,
yeah,
with you.
yeah,
So no.
yeah. Um, yeah, that paperwork, yeah, it was a lot. But like I said, you guys came through and did what you do, like I said, I ain't too computer savvy, I'm better now, but at the time, it was a little different. But
Can you tell them how the VA works? How the money and all of that type of stuff?
about the money. Yeah. Well, uh you the student that I had came in with his certificate of authorization, and I had to put all his information to a portal. But the VA pays the whole amount. I like that. That was pretty different for me. You know, um, they're not gonna chop it up. They're gonna give you your whole amount. But and you gotta, of course, do monthly progress reports and send it in to them. Pretty much like the vocational rehabilitation students that go that way as well. But yeah, they pay the whole amount. You can't beat that. You know,
Do they wire? Can you tell them how do they give you a
yeah,
check? They wire? Tell them
they
about that.
they wire it to you. You won't get a check because you definitely have to give them your bank account numbers and all that good stuff. So yeah, you will have that direct deposit real quick. So yeah, that's major. And going back to the voc rehabilitation, it takes them like 2 weeks for me to get the check after I turn in my invoice to them. So yeah.
Well, what about the VA? How long it take to get your money on that when you get a VA student before they wire that money to your bank account?
I want to say about a couple days, a day or so. It's not long at all, you know.
So you got the VA student, you submitted the paperwork, then a couple of days they wired that money to your bank account.
Correct, correct,
So
correct.
so you're telling these school owners or potential school owners, the government actually wired that to, so you woke up one morning and you looked at your bank account and the money was in there.
The money was in there. The money was in there.
Tell
The
us
money
about that.
Hey, if you do like I do, I check my account on a regular. So especially something like this that was major, I'm checking, and hey, you look up, it's in there, I mean, You
How
can't
did
beat
that
the two.
feel?
It felt even better than getting it in the mail. I know that. It felt real good, like I said, another accomplishment, another funding, um, all I'm doing now is I need to get more. I want to pursue more VA students. That's what it make you want to do, But yeah, it's a heck of a feeling, heck of a feeling.
Okay. Um, what what advice would you give somebody that wants to open a school? What would you tell somebody that's a barber, hairstylist, nail tech, esthetician? Because we got about 1 million of them out there, but some of them scared to open a school, fearful. They thinking about the dream killers that's telling them, the haters, different things. What would you tell them?
Hey, all I can say is, keep your faith, stay prayed up. Start off. What I did was I started off with a small school with only 8 chairs, um, just to get a feel for it. But um, that's what I would really consider. And just make sure you're real serious about it. Make sure you got your curriculum in order. Make sure your location is where you want it to be. And of course, some money, what I mean? You're not going to do it without having no money, but you just want to make sure everything, the location is everything, If it's by high school or university, that'll be good for the foot traffic, but do research, look at other schools, see what they do, take some from each school and put it in your own type of folder and understand about the funding. You want to definitely go in with a mind frame, understanding, okay, how I'm gonna get these students in here, because what I did it kind of backwards. I got a loan and was like, hey, I'm good now. Now I'm just gonna, let me see what I can do. No, go in, have your funding in order, figure out how you're gonna advertise. Um, you just gotta, it's real hustle time then, um, and I'm sure you will come out looking for what you got, you know, what you're trying to pursue, and don't worry about the haters, hey, you doing something right when they hating on you, I love it and hate it, but at the end of the day, I'm the big dog up here, you know what I mean? So, and that's just what it is, I'm the big dog. So, and I ain't going nowhere no time soon. If anything, I'm going to expand. But all I can say is, folks, stay prayed up, man, and just go hard on what you do. Stay focused. Don't let outside distractions and people tell you, no, what you can't do, because at the end of the day, people that's doing all that talking, they not doing what you doing. This is a whole nother level. A school, man, come on. But yeah, that's what I got to say about that.
How important do you think it is to hire experts to do certain things for you versus doing everything yourself?
Like I was saying earlier, you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself because you think you know what you're doing. But I'd rather have an expert because that's what they do. You know, um, a lot of times, if you're a school owner or you got other jobs and outside things going on, kids, family, you don't really have time to go 100% doing all type of paperwork like that. So in my situation, I'm definitely reaching out to an expert in that type of field like that, and that makes it just easier for me, for myself, I mean, that's just the bottom line. I think you can't go wrong, getting the expert, but do your research on the experts. If you feeling a certain way when you seeing what they charging and the numbers looking different, and you think you can do it yourself, go ahead and try, I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's different.
If you had to start over right now and you was going to open your school, what would you do? What would you not do? What would you tell somebody based on everything you've done up to this point?
Oh, wow. First, I would have to go back to um, um, doing uh, creating my inside, doing the inside part of the school, far as my sinks and my chairs and everything, just the floor plan, I would have did a little different, Um, I would have did, I would have pursued my funding for the school different, for as pursuing students. Uh, a lot of things I would have did different, but a lot of times when you are open up a business, you're not gonna have everything in order. You're not gonna have everything the way you really, really want it. You think you got it like the way you want it till once you get going and you start seeing different things that come about. You can get students, you can have you a curriculum going on, you can have your rules and regulations in order, and then and the conduct and all that good stuff. And then you get students coming in with some different things that you didn't even put down, and now you got to regroup and redo that all over again. And you just everything is always it's changing. But yes, it's quite a few things that I would do different, but as of right now, that just kind of made everything better the way I jumped out here into it, but
Mhm.
everything is never gonna be easy and smooth, It was some few bumps. It was quite a few bumps, so.
Now, why do you feel there are not more people that look like you that own schools?
Oh, yeah, I believe that they don't know how to go about on doing it, and also too, a little anxiety, a little scared about going to, trying to pursue it. I done had a few guys from St. Louis, excuse me, reach out to me to how to open up a school. Um, but yeah, I want to say that it's the know-how. A lot of times we don't know how to do things, and then we don't want to ask each other. Um, I'm the type, I'm gonna ask, I don't have no problem asking, especially if it's the same field or whatever, that I'm interested in. Um, with guys, I want to say it's pride. We don't want to ask each other nothing. We grown men, we should be able to talk, and not be envious and thinking, oh, he won't tell me the knowledge and all that. Hey, look, you got to talk. We got to change that too. But yeah, it's the not know how and everything. Um, yeah, the know how and being scared,
Okay.
don't know
Uh,
where to start.
we got a few questions. Do you have time to answer some questions, Scott?
A couple. I got my students still in here.
All right.